What is up, everybody? This is Will Tiller with 10-4 Broadcasting, and tonight we are live from Las Vegas, the Sin City, bringing you action out of the International Racing League. And tonight I am joined by a special guest that is his first time producing here for 10-4 Broadcasting, Patrick Morrison. And Patrick, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing great, Will. A little nervous. Don't want to don't want to fail you guys, but it's a great time working with you. I believe last time you and I talked, we were at Monza.
Yes, sir. What a track that was. This is a little bit different than Monza per se, but it's going to be a fun night nonetheless, man. I'm excited to have you up here with us.
Oh yeah. Well, what? So this will be my first time here in this racing league. So what differentiates this league from any of the other ones?
Oh, man. You're in for highly competitive action here tonight. Last week we saw Patrick Hernandez basically have his car on rails at Auto Club. I mean, even said it in the interview. He knew he had the fastest car on the track here. But tonight you're really going to see the drivers give it their all. I mean, it's a highly competitive league. These drivers race very clean, Patrick. There's no craziness that goes on during these races. And also we have Alexis racing with us here tonight, who's the admin's daughter. So we'll see what she can put forth here in tonight's event during the drivers' meeting. She's trying to stay awake, so I'm sure once the action kicks off here at Vegas, it'll bring that high octane action going through her here tonight, Patrick. And I know you're used to calling the stock cars on Saturday night. These are the Xfinity cars, and as an iRacer yourself, what are the folks at home in store for here tonight as far as the difference of cars?
Well, the Xfinity is a little more difficult than your normal vehicle. You are fighting the Xfinity being a bit different with a wider car. They're very hungry. They chew up those right side tires pretty bad. But streamlined drafting is one of the things I find that are the biggest strong point of the Xfinity series is being able to kind of tuck that nose right in behind somebody and actually pick up a whole lot of speed. So to me, that's the positive of these Xfinity cars, but it does have its drawbacks at the same time. Will.
Yeah, we saw that last week when Patrick was able to keep that nose out front, but you saw those tandems building up behind him as the race proceeded along, and it really gave Patrick that opportunity to pull away with that race at Auto Club, knowing that he had the fastest car, he had all the confidence in the world to get the job done. And Patrick, I'm used to calling modifieds during the week, with this series and the high octane sim series, I get to call a little bit of the stock car action here and there. And as you mentioned, being able to stick that nose right in the back bumper of these machines and kind of wiggle somebody out of your way. You have that side draft where you're able to kind of, rub a little paint on the side, if you will. But, those modified race cars, we don't really see that at all. We usually see one person get out to the lead and dominate. If you make contact with somebody, you're usually going to spin or you're going to spin yourself. So I'm really looking forward to the action here tonight and seeing these stock cars once again on the track.
Yeah, and
But
it does
here,
differentiate going from open wheel to closed wheel here. But I believe we're about to go on to green flag here, Will.
yes, sir. Let's go racing here at Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Green, green, green here in the International Racing League. You see some awesome paint schemes on these cars as they head down into one. You see, Patrick, they're already starting to build up those lines on that backstretch already here. It's going to be an 80 lap shootout here at Vegas. Two fast repairs here tonight for those folks at home. And what that means, ladies and gentlemen, that if you do get caught up in an accident, you're able to fix your car real fast, hence fast repair, get it right back on the track. So even though you might see your favorite driver caught up in an accident early on in tonight's proceedings, they can definitely climb back into the race with that fast repair. As you already see, Patrick Hernandez is trying to get around Todd up in the lead right now, trying to get that Toyota out into the front. And you see him down on the low side there, Patrick, around 3 and 4.
Wow, and a really great move there. But you see how that draft ended up working out for him. Kind of tucked him right behind, sneak up, sit in that aero bubble, and actually was able to take off and capitalize on the move. But not to take away from here from 63 here, but he's going to play the same game, run right up behind him, and we're going to definitely get some pushing here and some fast times tonight, Will.
Yeah, that's 63. But you already see that tandem, as you were mentioning. There are four cars trying to stack up in a line to ride that draft around the track. As you see, Patrick's going to try to touch that line again with those tires. And from what I saw to Patrick last week at Auto Club, he really knows how to ride that inside lane there. And when I said he drove with a lot of confidence last week, so I can only imagine the type of confidence he has in that race car here tonight in that 19 machine. He's almost running that same type of style where he goes way to the bottom inside there, rides that inside lane just a little bit, and then goes to the high side there on the exit, going up on the front stretch and back stretch. And what that enables him to do there, Patrick, is not only is he carrying that speed on the inside lane, but he's able to swing out to the outside to throw that block on the 63.
Oh,
But here comes
man.
the 24 of Johnson. Oh, man.
Wow, that was close. That was close. Definitely not really want to give him any kind of room there. You see kind of first and second place here. Really kind of taking it easy. But, man, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. I don't know, man. I don't see that lasting too much longer, uncontested. Let's see, we got a little bit of movement back there with Scott Taylor.
They're running some awesome paint schemes here tonight. That 54 is throwing a throwback to Bobby Labonte there, from what I remember. That Havoline race car as well in the mix. That's the 54.
Yeah, and so far, I believe Scott Taylor, he's the fastest one on the track at this point. So I knew he ran his fastest time on the track so far is 32.46, and that last one was a 30.7. So he's still the fastest one on the track. So I wonder if he's kind of just waiting his time here to make that move. As you see, it looks like third and fourth place might be getting into a little bit there. Looks like the 63 of Dakota Todd seeming to be kind of marching back there a little bit.
Yeah, Patrick, you see that 63 still trying to hold on to second place there. But again, we do have a constant here in this race, folks, and that's Patrick Hernandez still leading the way. Everybody's trying to climb up to him in that lead position, but as we mentioned, that line he's running through, doing a great job as they're side by side there, Patrick. That 63 is just trying to hold on there for that spot. As you see him fading back just a little bit there, as he's got overtaken, taking a look at the rest of the cars in this race. But I see Patrick's trying to go to that high side a little bit, throw a block on the one. You see the one coming with a lot of speed there on the backstretch.
Yeah, boy, it's getting tight here, Will. I don't know how much longer these two can hold it out. Because I'm with one not bumping into the other and kind of creating a catastrophe here. Because you see these top six cars are really pulling away here. I mean, I think the top six are all within a second of each other, so it's still anybody's ball game. You think about calling a shot yet?
Calling a shot? No, Patrick, because the past couple of weeks I've been putting commentators' curses on these drivers here tonight. Every time I make a pick, they get taken out early, so I think I'm going to leave the picking. And the only thing I got right the other night was over-under cautions in one of our races, so I'm going to leave picking the race winners to the side for a couple weeks and seeing if my favorites, I guess my head, can win. Just don't want to put that out in the atmosphere in tonight's action.
Oh, okay, so no commentator's curse for you. Yeah, it's interesting seeing them taking this high line here, but you see the multi grooves. With the 19 and the 1, you got the 24 hanging out in the middle, and then we got the 63, of Dakota Todd hanging out on the bottom. So different strategies here. I'm wondering how the tire wear is going to fare here with making that run.
Yeah, for sure. Talking about runs, I'd keep an eye on that 24 machine of Johnson. That's kind of a misnomer there. You got Johnson in the 24 machine. You're used to seeing Johnson in the 48 per se, but you see if he can hook up with that 63, maybe ride that low side around Colette in that 1 and Hernandez in that 19. You see that 63 starting to think about the inside. As you see, the 63 is going to try to make a pass on the inside lane there. There's an onboard ride here with that 63 machine. I know this is the 24 of Johnson there. And you see that 63 right below him. Oh, that's a perfect shot, Patrick, right there. And with that move that the 63 is trying to make, that 54 is trying to catch that air bubble as you were talking about. Going to go side draft on the 24, heading to the front stretch. Trying to ride some more of that speed, but a big run out of that 63. Trying to get back up into that second position.
Wow. Yeah, you see 54 kind of bounce around there a little bit. So these cars do handle really well until those tires decide to quit on you, and then we're not. You can't hook or worth anything. So Vegas is a slightly bumpy track. So when you do get into 1 and 2, and when you get into 3 and 4, you'll kind of see the the suspension of these cars bob a little bit, and it does give you a little bit of trouble there. So you kind of see everybody here kind of snugging right back into line and getting kind of trying to ride this one out, because we have 80 laps tonight. So are there any stages in this one, Will?
No, not that I'm aware of. No stages in these races, but they do go pretty quick, Patrick, once the drivers start tanning them up, as you see. But a lot more racy here tonight than what we saw at Auto Club last week. See a lot more passes going on here on the track. Hernandez is really the only one that's held on to that lead, but you see a lot of positions moving behind him, with the 24 of Johnson, and they make contact barely there. Just a little bit to get you sweaty on the wheel, as that 54 is going to try to make a pass here on the inside. The 24 is just all left out by himself there. Cue up the all by him. On the outside. You see help trying to go to the outside to try to help him a little bit there. But nope, that 54 is going to go to the high side. He's going to throw the block on that 24, kill all momentum that he might have had out of that 28, get behind him. You see a little give and take going on here, Patrick.
Yeah, definitely. As they go 3 wide here, going into turn
Whoa,
1.
that was a big checkup out of the 54.
Man, yeah, and that wasn't good. You see how 24 kind of rode up that track. Definitely a pucker moment there. What a good piece of driving. Definitely a floss around that one, because, man, I wouldn't have wanted that. That one was starting to get away from him, but good gather up there by Zachary Johnson in the 24. I mean, that was impressive, Will. I must say, because yeah, the tires are heating up. I mean, we're getting in it pretty good here. About 18 laps out of the 80 completed so far, and the tire wear is going to start taking its toll here in a little bit. So you're going to start seeing these cars loosen up, and the driver skill is going to have to start kicking in here to make up for lost ground, because the 24, he kind of bit it on that one, so he's kind of fallen off about 4/10 from the car in front of him. So he's got to have his work cut out for him to work his way back up front here, Will.
Yeah, Patrick, and that was a big checkup out of that 54 as well in that circumstance. You saw the one of Colette really lost a lot of speed there, and I think it's because maybe they're having to switch lines a little bit here, Patrick. And as an iRacer yourself, will you start to see that as those tires, as you see the 24 is going to make a pass on Colette on that one, and Colette's really starting to lose a lot of positions on the track. The 28 is going to fall on the inside lane there. But as you mentioned, as those tires are starting to heat up and this race proceeds along, are you going to start seeing that line, that preferred line, change throughout tonight's race? You saw them racing that inside lane. Hernandez was really grooving, touching that white line with the tires. But now as this race is starting to proceed on, you're starting to see more drivers drift up to the middle lane and even the top side lane a little bit more. Will you see that throughout this race as the tires warm up?
Oh, 100%. As the tires fall off, there's no doubt a lack of grip being able to go around. As you can see, Zachary Johnson here, you hear how he's kind of having to pedal around, to get around these turns. So he's starting to feel that tire wear, and that the front end's going to start dragging up the track, which is going to start causing a lot of problems later on. But yeah, you hear it sliding there, man. Yeah, so that's going to take its toll. But it's all driver's choice, which line you like to drive. But it's between driver and crew chief and how the tire wear went through during practice or whatnot, which how to set up the car and how to go through this race here, Will. And honestly, it's something. This isn't easy for sure. Getting around this track here at Vegas. So it loves eating tires, especially when we're getting up over 180, 190 miles an hour here on the front and back stretch. Really being able to plant that car and shoot around these turns, Will.
Yeah, we're starting to see it. That was a problem the 24 ran with using up the tires. And it was something that Tim, our other producer, had actually seen very, very early on in that race of the lines that he was running that 24 machine. It didn't. Oh, there we go. We have a car down just on the infield there, just on the exit of pit road. No caution yet on the racetrack, folks. But if we look, as you were mentioning there, the tire wear of the 24, it was the same thing that we saw at Auto Club, was running a really tight line. The tires started to heat up, as you say, started to lose a lot of positions in that race, was able to climb back up into contention. But I think it took a caution for him to go into pit road and get some fresh tires, as you're starting to
Oh,
see a few. Oh no! 19 Hernandez brushes the wall there as they're trying to get around a lapped car here. And you see the 63 is now having a checkup behind that 3 machine. Hernandez doesn't seem to have any effect of it, though, as he's still running down the backstretch. But you did see him brush the wall briefly there as they were trying to get around that 3 machine.
wow. Yeah, 19 trying to
And
put a
that could
good
have
block.
been disastrous there for. As you are starting to see some cars go down a lap. I did see Alexis Molnax there go down a lap, taking the seat for her dad in tonight's event. Want to appreciate her running with everybody here tonight. It's good to see some, fresh drivers taking a whirl at it here. Oh, as you see, the 63 almost made contact on the wall.
Yeah, and they're definitely having a heck of a drive out here, as it looks like we might have a lead change here, Will.
Yeah, that was a big move out of the 63. A lot of speed you're starting to see out of that 63 machine of Dakota. And we'll see the 63 still running here. And
Yeah, he's doing a great job here, Will. He's really putting a good clip. Putting a good clip. He is running about 32.1. So at the beginning of the race, his fastest lap was a 30.9. So you already see we're almost falling off by about a second so far. That last lap there was a 31.9. So, 27 laps in, we've fallen off by over a second, and that's from your leader, your guy in the front, who's leading the pack. So. I would think tire change is going to be here pretty soon. Are we running 100% fuel, or
and
are
you're
we at 50% here?
and you're taking a look. I'm actually taking a look at the grid. Change the subject. It looks like Hernandez is down pit road there. I saw him starting to lose a lot of positions on the grid. There goes a 24 of Johnson. So it all plays into what you were talking about there, Patrick. With the tire wear in tonight's event, these drivers are starting to head down pit road here, trying to get suited up for the rest of the race. We're on lap 20 here, so creeping up to just about halfway in tonight's proceedings. I was starting to see some different names hop up into the top 5 there, so I was starting to think if drivers were heading down pit road there, as we're taking a look at the 28 machine right here,
Yeah, I was going to say, I think
as you
he's
see
getting ready to
him
head
head
down
down
pit.
pit road.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be curious to see how this all shakes out here once everybody gets their green flag pit stops out of the way. Of course, we do have 2 fast repairs in tonight's event, so if any drivers do get caught up in an unfortunate event, you do have that opportunity to use a fast repair. So be on the lookout for maybe Hernandez using that there, as you saw him brush the wall just briefly there. As well as the 63 machine did make contact with the wall as well when he made that pass on Hernandez. So see if they want to go ahead and use that fast repair now, with about looking at probably about 50 laps left, knowing that you still have another one in your back pocket. But keep an eye out to see what that 63 does here, Patrick. And is there any way that you can see on your side of what they do here in these pit stops, whether they take fuel only or tires?
No, not at this point. I mean, we're kind of these guys are getting it pretty tight in there, trying to get everything going through. So you can see here's the left side tires. So we'll give you kind of an in view how they're kind of zipping through, getting those tires on, and then hammer back through, and out we go. So. Yeah,
Here we go, rock and rolling once again here on the track.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get up to speed here pretty quick. As there, as you see, Hernandez going ahead and walking on around and regaining the lead. So yeah, well, I mean, definitely a lot of lane changes here, and pit strategy is gonna have to play a big factor here, because Scott Taylor isn't letting up, catching up here in the 3rd position, and he still has the fastest time on the track. So he obviously knows what line's working. So yeah, probably he may slide around him if the 63 can't get his tires heated up fast enough. But yeah, with Hernandez leading by 2.2 seconds at this point,
Oof.
in your opinion, you think it would be a good idea for these two to link up and go ahead and see if they can push to the front?
Well, I don't know. That 54 looks like he just said, knock, knock, who's there? It's me trying to get by you here. And, just went right up on the back bumper of the 63 there. But, Patrick, that would be the strategy there to try to link up here, try to catch that 19. But that 54 doesn't look like he wants any part of that. Let's go ahead and get around that 63 as fast as possible. Because, as you mentioned, Taylor is running the fastest laps on the track. But I think that might be the wise move. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. They are side by side here, heading down the backstretch. This is a battle for second place here. They're now still side by side, heading down to 3 and 4. You see Taylor on the high side, 63, right there as well. You see 54 of Taylor up there. They're still side by side, drag racing around Las Vegas here.
Oh, we got a caution.
We do have a caution on the track, ladies and gentlemen. Our first caution of the race. Here in the International Racing League, we'll get that 10-4 broadcasting replay revved up for you in just a second to see what brought out our first caution of the night, Patrick. That took almost about halfway. Yeah. Love to see it there, Patrick. Love to see what driving. As I mentioned, I do a lot of the modified broadcasts here for broadcast. Those modified, they beat and bang against each other. You have caution almost every lap. We had one race the other night that was a half a lap. We had a caution, so to see nice, wide, open green flag runs is a change of pace for me. That's for sure.
All right, looks like we may have.
Check it.
Right here.
Check it out here. That's the 3 machine. Oh no! You just got really sideways there and just couldn't control it.
Man, all the way back into the middle. That was.
Oh, I hate to see it, but no. Looked like me trying to play Forza Horizon 5 earlier. I was slip sliding and drifting all over the place. It was the first time playing a racing game in such a long time. As you see that 3 machine here, just is all over that apron, Patrick, and just got really loose and just couldn't save it there.
Yeah, the clip there off the top of the wall, but man, really hit it. Coming back down.
No. Yeah, you get too fast, you're going to events, so definitely just see Again, I want to thank you, Patrick. This is your debut for producing here at 10-4 Broadcasting, and you're about halfway through your first race here so far, and we want to appreciate you just jumping into it, man. I know it's as you said, you're a little nervous, and you'll get things down here eventually and down pat, but it takes getting your feet wet to get going. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it's it's a handful. I assure you of that. It's a handful, but man, keeping up with these drivers, kind of rocking around here. I mean, this is really fun here, Will. Now I know why you like this league. These guys racing around. I mean, they did start getting spread out there, but see, with somebody spun out earlier, they didn't throw the caution, but that one, I'm glad they did that. Somebody could have gotten a very ruined night from getting banged up into that one, so that'd have kind of been ugly. So I think maybe we might have a couple lapped cars. If they stay out, might get a good wave around and get a couple guys hopefully back on the lead lap. So
yeah, Patrick, we noticed it last week in our very first broadcast in this league for the International Racing League. As much as Hernandez dominated that race and had his race car on rails, as he said in his interview after the race, you saw a lot of movement. You saw movement in the positions behind him. You saw movement, up at the front. He lost the lead a couple times, was able to gain it back. But as much as you said it, you start getting it spread out. You start getting, fanned out, if you will, to use a NASCAR term. These drivers find a way to find each other, and then you see passes, going on the track. Like the 54 of Taylor, you thought he was going to link up with the 63. He did. He went side by side with him for almost 2 laps there until that caution came out. So these drivers are very highly competitive in this league. They're not content with finishing in the top five, top three, if you will. They want to win, and we saw it last week. And Hernandez, I guess that was his track at Auto Club, and looking like Las Vegas is his track as well. Maybe he's a West Coast type of guy. But none of these drivers really give up on their racing abilities or their confidence in those race cars, and really seeing it here tonight, Patrick. And this is an awesome league to be a part of. Again, we want to thank everybody for having us on here. This is only our second race here at International Racing League, and what a better way to spend your Thursday nights than calling some awesome Xfinity racing.
Yes, and especially as exciting as this is, with it being as door to door as it's getting here tonight. But I was gonna say, Will, do you want to give any kind of shout outs to anybody here in the chat, bud?
Well, no, I just want to thank everybody who's tuning in here tonight. And again, if you are watching live on YouTube or Facebook, we love to invite you fans to shout out your favorite drivers, to shout out your favorite teams, or maybe who your race pick is going to be here tonight. I know there's some Colette fans in the chat. Let's go, Alex. That's Philip Molinax's daughter who's racing in the race. We saw her unfortunately go a lap down there. Might be able to get that lap back there because of that caution, but or those green flag pit stops, maybe she was able to climb back into the mix. Enjoy, boys. So Zachary plays the number 24, and we just want to invite everybody who may be watching to shout out their favorite drivers. I know a few of these drivers do listen to the broadcast as they're racing. So, well, we see the 24 car of Johnson up there now in the lead, Patrick. So we'll see if he can keep that pace up there. We saw him lose a couple positions there because of the tire wear. See the 00 up there as well. See the 19 of Hernandez has climbed back up there into the mix. See the 2 car as well up there. So we shall see here, Patrick, of who's going to be able to hold that pace with a lot of speed behind him. Now you see Colette in that 1. You see 54 of Taylor up there. Hernandez is the 19. But here we go, folks. We are about to go green flag racing here once again here at Viva Las Vegas. Let's go racing green, green, green.
Wow, what a launch there. What a launch by Zachary Johnson. Wow, what a takeoff. Yeah, it really staged that restart. As soon as that pace car came off, I like his strategy. No time wasted and just slam on through. What great move. Great move.
But you see the 00 there is trying to throw a block. That Orendorff on that 00 is trying to throw a block on Hernandez, but you see Hernandez is climbing back up there. You see the 63 as well is going to follow right behind Orendorff in that 00. But there you go, folks. 24 of Johnson's going to go ahead and lead this lap, first lap back under green. See 63 of Todd's trying to get up there as well. You see the 54 of Taylor. He's not going to make a pass on Orendorff in that 00. But here we go. Here's that fast pack of 3 cars we've been watching during the first half of this race. Not trying to catch that 24 of Johnson as they're cruising around 3 and 4.
Yeah, and Zachary Johnson actually getting away already by half a second. So that restart really worked out for him. But like I was saying earlier with these Xfinity cars, that draft is going to help. So if these 3 can actually link up instead of trying to kill each other here in the next two laps, they may be able to kind of reel him in. So because it seems he's got a fishing hook in the rear bumper of that car. He's pulling him in by 2 cents so far, Will.
Oh, and you're starting to see that Kurt Busch, that Joey Logano squeeze going on that top side there. You give the driver just enough room to where you're not putting them in the wall per se, but you're not giving them enough room to make any mistakes there on that top side. But as you just mentioned there, Patrick, they are going to file in. But as you see, Hernandez is going to go drift up to the top side there. But you saw just for that split second, Patrick, as they filed single file, they have now caught the 24 machine of Johnson.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was saying. So Zachary Johnson, he's going to be doing going to have to, I believe, some defensive driving here, because your 2 previous leaders are getting ready to probably regain the lead. Now, if they take this 3 wide, Will, I really don't know if we can hold on to this one. The cars will handle, but can the driver have the skill to pull through?
Man. Here we go. Split actions happening on the backstretch there, Patrick. As you see Hernandez to the outside, you see the 63 of Todd to the bottom. But it's Hernandez that gets left out all by himself there on the top side.
Oh, man.
There we go once again. They're going to... Man.
Wow, yeah, and Dakota Todd giving that 24 car a little push there. Wow. Saw it loosen him up there a little bit, but yeah, no
They're
harm, no foul.
trying. You see Hernandez in that 19's got a lot of speed there on exit. Wow, what a corner it was out of two. Fernandez rode that speed all the way around, overtook Johnson in that 24. He's got Taylor in that 54 trying to follow him on that high side. It looks like he's found that line now, Patrick, and that does not bear good news to the rest of the field if he has found his Emperor's new groove here at Las Vegas.
No, no, definitely not. And he's definitely showing those Goodyear tires what they're capable of. So you can see with the new tires, we're hooking, we're sticking to the track. But as we had last time here, Will, with about with 25, 30 laps to go, we're gonna have to see how long they're gonna hold out. As you can see, we're getting 2-3 wide here. With just over halfway to go. Man, it's a pucker factor. I mean, 54 has got to be white knuckled here, Will.
Oh no! They just tapped, as you were mentioning that, Patrick, the 54 just let Hernandez know, hey, I'm here. I'm going to go ahead and take this lead from you. Gave him a little love tap as he went by, but that's not slowing down Hernandez, who's got those fast runs coming out of two, Patrick.
Yeah, and definitely hanging that high line. Yeah, you'll fall off during the turns, letting somebody dive in. But man, when it straightens out, you've got the boost to go ahead and whip around there. But
Ooh.
yeah, the play here of Dakota Todd kind of rocking here toward the bottom. I like his strategy. Keep 54 hung up there toward the top, but the lower you are, the higher the tire wear. So yeah, I'm this it'll be a little while before this battle kind of cools down here.
Yeah, maybe we could take an onboard ride with that 54 of Todd just to see what his his point of view is in that race car as he's trying to get around the 19 Hernandez. There we go, and these onboard cameras are brought to you by 10-4 Broadcast. We'll take a ride on board with Taylor in this 54 just to see what kind of grooves he is trying here to get around this 19 machine. You see him trying to go low, and you see the 19's right there. Patrick, that 19's got such a big run coming out of two.
Yeah, right there. See, he's getting ready to nudge right underneath him. Yeah, keep him honest. Hold him up toward the top there. Excellent move.
So close.
Excellent move. Yeah, you don't notice how close these guys get.
So close.
Yeah, these guys get real close. See if I can find a nose here. Oh boy, might be a waste of time because I think he just made a move on him.
Yeah, he's going to make a move right here, heading down into three. Taylor's got the inside lane in that 54. Hernandez in that 19's right up there as well. You see the 63s watching from afar of this battle ensuing right here at the top. The 63 of Todd just waiting his time to try to get around these leaders, folks. And these leaders that, usually we cycle through the field. We show you the rest of the race. He's going to try to go three wide for a minute on the corner. Wisely kind of backed off just a little bit, but these guys do have about almost a second lead on Johnson and about 2 seconds on Collette in fifth position. So it's really this action that's ensuing up here, folks. But this battle for the lead has not simmered down for the last, I would say, about 5 laps or so. It's a lot of give and take, but now you see Hernandez is starting to peel off just a little bit there. You see the 63 is going to try to make a move there on Taylor. And you see Taylor, I think, maybe brushed the wall just a little bit there. Lost a lot of speed on the corner.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, definitely a lot.
There now, single file heading down the backstretch.
Yeah, a lot of fall off there from Scott Taylor. Yeah, he was in the running there for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you see kind of backing off a little bit. Now this may be a strategy he's playing because you saw he rode that inside line. So I know I've been talking about tires all night, but man, it's definitely something these Xfinity cars is not to forget. You gotta conserve and you gotta take care of your tires. Tires, are what win a race, as the Days of Thunder would say. But
maybe we can.
Go ahead.
That's it. If we could jump back to maybe the look of Johnson in that 24. Looks like he's, there we go. Just jump back just a little bit to see. There we go. He's got a battle on his hands there with the 28 of Kukslowski. He's going to go ahead and make that pass there to send Johnson down into 6th position. This is a battle for the top 5. as we looked at the top three guys there battling at the top. This is fourth and fifth right here on the track. And these guys, Patrick, as you were just mentioning, in order to catch those leaders, you're going to have to file in just a little bit. But I think I may have got a glimpse of the leaders there. Looks like that 28's got a lot of speed. He's going to ride that momentum up there in that 28 machine. Oh, nope, that's just a lap car on the track. But maybe use that lap car to his advantage as well.
Oh,
As you
just
see, he's going to try to use that draft. You see the 9 brush the wall there, get loose on the corner.
yeah, but kind of a smart move there, trying to get out of the way. If you're a lapped car, I mean, you
As
don't
you
want to kind
see.
of be a poor sport and kind of nudge somebody out of the way. So you kind of ride that high line, stay out of the way, let them go by, and then that way you can finish your race tonight. You know what I mean? Instead of getting rear-ended by a car you didn't expect, in case if you got tied up in anything earlier.
Oh gosh, we had an incident like that happening on our Friday night series, Patrick, in the high octane sim series, where we had a driver lead, and I'd say about 85-90% of the race, and came up on a lap car, and they passed several lap cars as they were in the lead, but there was this one particular lap car that got out of the way at first and then decided to come down onto the leader for some reason. So it really reshaped the race with 20 laps to go. But talking about reshaping the race, looks like Dakota Taylor's going to try to make a pass on Hernandez, but files right back in here, folks. We went away from these leaders for just a split second as they were starting to fan out. But as I mentioned to start this broadcast off, Patrick, you'll see that they'll fan out for just a second, and then the way these drivers are, they don't give up. They have the confidence in themselves to race a good race here tonight, and you see it. Hernandez is really trying to work for that lead. As much as he's been in the lead, it's been tough up there. He hasn't been able to sip that Puree water and listen to that smooth jazz just yet up there in the lead.
Oh no, oh no. Definitely contested every race. I mean, he may get a couple turns here where he gets a little bit of a breather, but right there, great move on the inside. Great move on the inside as Dakota Todd looks like he regains the lead there, Will.
For just a second there, Patrick, but you see Hernandez is not giving up that lead. He's going to try to catch a side draft or maybe file in behind him to keep that speed with Todd up there in the lead. As you see, the third place car is now about a second behind, about 0.7 seconds. And then you see Kukslowski is about 2.5 seconds behind there, ladies and gentlemen. So these leaders are starting to pull away from the rest of the field. And in particular, it's these two drivers right here, because now third place is not even in your point of view for the folks at home. It looks like Todd's going to hang on to that lead for right now, folks, and we'll jump back to the rest of the field to see what kind of battles are ensuing on the rest of the track.
Yeah, I figured we give Colette here a little bit of stage time here. Doing a great job driving tonight. You said this one was the filler?
No, that's Alexis Molinax is filling in for her dad here tonight,
Oh wow,
and
yeah.
she is running. It looks like in the ninth position there.
Okay, yeah. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I, I think I got tongue tied there.
But no, Colette definitely has some fans in the chat.
Yeah, I meant BJ Fuller, not filler. My bad. Wow, messed that one up.
Yo, yeah, yeah, gotcha. As we're taking a look at Alex here, running a pretty good race. I asked her dad before the race started if this was her first race in iRacing. I think it's her third race in that machine, and doing a great job. It's not easy to jump into the simulator and hold your own, but I'd say she went down a lap to start things off here tonight. But holding her line, she's in ninth position right now. I'd say she's 4 laps down. But I mean, Patrick, what can you ask for somebody just jumping into a simulator cold? Hasn't spun out on the track, hasn't been involved in anything crazy, just doesn't have the speed of Fernandez or Todd, or it looks like we have some new leaders on the track, might be some more green flag pit stops happening, but really, I'd say a really great effort here tonight out of that 9.
Yeah, and it's not easy. I mean, fighting the wheel, fighting the car, and if you're unfamiliar, I mean, even the guys who race Cup Series, your backup driver, sure, he may go out there and you've set the car up, but if now you want me to grab the wheel and kind of take over, it's not easy. You're kind of driving somebody else's style, somebody else's car your way. So I mean, hats off.
Right.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's not easy to do. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I can only, oh, here we go. Another battle ensuing up here. I can only imagine what I'm going to look like when I finally get onto the simulator. As I mentioned, I tried to play Forza Horizon 5 earlier, slip sliding and crashing all over the place, and not used to those racing games. I'm more of a like a Halo guy or something like that, but definitely gonna get on the simulator here soon. But I'm gonna be slip sliding and crashing all over the place. So we'll see what happens there. But we know what's happening up here in the lead right now. Hernandez just held off Todd once again, and you saw a new leader up there on the grid for just a split second. I think we may have had a problem there with the live scoring as it's registering Ellis as the race leader.
Yeah, I
Which you
believe
see that
Ellis.
three car.
Yeah, I believe Ellis may have pit. No, actually, Ellis is still rocking around. I believe last time pit was 35. Huh.
Yeah, so we shall see there. But it's that same three-car race up at the top, folks, between Hernandez, Todd. Oh, man, they're side by side. We came back just in time.
I'm sorry about that. Wow, that was close. Holy cow.
Wow. Oh, big run out of that 54 of Taylor. Seemingly came out of nowhere, folks. We lost track of him there for a second. Dropped down to about a second off the pace, but is now back up there into the mix there. And you see, folks, on your screen, there's nobody else really in the mix just yet. It's really just a three-car race there up at the top.
Wow. Yeah, squeezing it there. Man.
Oh, watch out. Oh, man. That was close there, but looks like these guys are just going to be racing each other here for the rest of the proceedings here tonight as you see Taylor and Todd trying to go side by side there. Taylor's trying to ride that Dale Jr. line there, running about a centimeter off the wall. Trying to follow the same line as Hernandez is running, but you start to see Hernandez kind of drift to that middle lane just a little bit there on the corners. Right there. He's not going totally low, and he's not going to the high side. He's almost sticking right in the middle.
Yeah, I think it may be trying to block. Because 63 here is getting one heck of a run definitely on the inside, which overtook him last time. And that's, yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know about that. That's very, very difficult. Yeah, to hang in that low line there, Will. I mean, it's definitely taxing on the tires as we got about 15 to go. So, yeah, wow.
And they are coming so close to one another, Patrick, that just the slightest mistake, the slightest slip up can really reshape this race here with we're creeping up on less than 10 laps to go. Oh, man, they're drifting so close to one another. I'm getting so antsy over here up in the booth. I can only imagine what they're feeling like in the simulator.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's, it's hard to say who may come out on top on this one. I'm hoping that, the 54 Scott Taylor is kind of hanging back, taking his time, conserving the tires because he got one heck of a run there about 3 laps ago. So I'm hoping he's kind of conserving and is going to make one last shot here, so for these top 3 to kind of really trade some paint, before we get to the finish line. Because the two here of Patrick Hernandez and Dakota Todd in the 63 and 19 car. I mean, these two have been duking it out almost all race. And this is impressive. This is impressive, man. My first time here in the IRL league.
Yeah, and it looks like Johnson in that 24 machine that we saw battling up here with these guys for the early proceedings of the race is now drifted down into the 5th position. Kuchlowski's in 4th, folks, but we drift through it as we're taking a look at that 24 machine of Johnson down into I believe the 5th position. Yeah, the 5th position when he was up there battling Patrick, but it looks like Kuchlowski is in 4th position now. But folks, they're about 5 and 6 seconds behind these race leaders, so it's really just a 3-car race here for the finish.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, look at it this way: we went 80 laps, and so far only one caution. So, I mean, really clean driving.
Yeah.
Really clean driving. You know, it's not a it's not I pacing here. We're not 80 laps and I'm pacing 58, 60 of them. I mean these are solid green flag
Right.
laps. We just saw a green flag pit stop there a little bit ago. Everybody some people kind of coming in making a quick little stop, probably for a gas and go. But look at that block, man.
That's the 00 Orendorff there. He is a few laps down. Trying to throw some blocks there on the 28 machine of Kugslowski. But it looks like he's going to go ahead and get around him there on the outside. Oh, Orendorff, better watch out. He's got him on the outside.
Yeah, he seems to have the stronger car there. So I may just kind of putt around, save some fuel, see if we can smash it to the end here, because I believe we got about 9 to go, 8 to go.
Yes, sir. And jumping up to those leaders there. Looks like Todd is now leading the race there in that 63 machine. Looks like Taylor has, as you mentioned, lost the pace there just a little bit from those top two guys. Might be those tires are now starting to wear just a little bit on that machine, And in that case, you might be losing that confidence that you have in winning tonight's race. You start seeing those guys starting to drift away from you just a little bit there. As it looks like the 63 of Todd's going to try to put some cars in between him and Hernandez. As we're creeping up on less than 7 laps to go here, Patrick.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wow, definitely a way to pull away here. I mean, that is, man. How in the world are they keeping out front? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm baffled at this point. How we're getting pulled away like this. I mean. Yeah, I'd almost say the 63 car with the upset. I mean, yeah, the 19 I thought had it there, sticking to that high line. But I'm wondering if maybe just a little strategy kind of mishap there to pull away. So yeah, as you see Dakota Todd work around the one car there.
As you see, as you saw Taylor lose the pace there in that 54, and Hernandez is now starting to lose the pace of Todd, who's now starting to pull away just a little bit here. And what I think may have happened too, Patrick, is with the influx of these lapped cars getting into the mix, it really gave the 63 an opportunity to kind of maneuver, kind of get around these cars. And once you get around these lapped cars, it makes the car behind you have to get around them as well. And what that enables you to do is gain more speed from the guy behind you as they're trying to work around. Oh, you see the one car get sideways on the exit of 4. That should bring out a caution here, folks, with less than 5 laps to go.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Yeah. So far holds out. They may have deemed this as a one car, no issue because he slid through
caution?
the infield. Yeah, they may go ahead and keep that green flag out. Keep running. Holy cow.
There we go. We're still rocking then. Alrighty, I love it. But that could have been disastrous. As I was just talking about maneuvering through the lap cars, you saw that one car get sideways. You almost had your fingers crossed they weren't going to touch the leaders there, and it's a great job out of that one machine of saving it, making sure you don't collect anybody else in that. But Patrick, creeping up almost on the conclusion of tonight's race here. We got less than, I believe, 3 laps to go.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Sorry, I'm still blown away by that spin out. That was a close one. That was a close one. That could have ruined somebody's night there if that wasn't collected quick. That's for sure. But man, look at that lead. Look at that lead as he dives here into 1.
Yes, sir.
So somewhere back there. There he is. Yeah, he's got one heck of a
There's
gap.
Hernandez in that 19. Looking at Todd. Todd has really, it's been these 3 drivers, folks. If you're tuning in late to tonight's broadcast here on 10-4 Broadcasting, has been Dakota Todd, Patrick Hernandez, and then Taylor in that 54. But as we're creeping up on the conclusion here, Todd's just leading around this track here, folks. And I believe we have 1 lap to go here, Patrick. This is the white flag if the scoring's correct.
Man, I think you're jumping the gun. I think you're jumping the gun. You wanted Not yet. Not yet. This is too much. Yeah.
No, this has been an awesome race so far here tonight.
Yeah, let's give it a
As we'll
peek.
jump to Todd in that 63. I believe we're going to have one lap to go here, folks. This is the last lap at Las Vegas, and it has been Brendan Todd, or Todd up there in the lead in that 63. Just as you said, Patrick says, pulled away with this lead here tonight, and looks like he's going to go ahead and hit those tables here tonight at Vegas, celebrate a little bit at the Bellagio, maybe get some champagne there on the strip. Because he deserves it the way he raced here tonight, battled all night long with Hernandez in that 19, also with that 54. But here we go. Todd in that 63 is the race winner here at Las Vegas.
Wow. Wow, what a run. What a run. Yeah, I believe he was off Patrick Hernandez by about a second and a half, and then Scott Taylor was off by another 4 seconds off of that. So, I mean, yeah, definitely conservative way to take off there. I mean, and take it. What a run. That was impressive. That was impressive out of these top three drivers, and really out of everybody. You know, with people not getting caught up in some of the spinouts and things like that. So, yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed this race tonight.
Is there? I mean, it's off to him there, Patrick, too. As you mentioned during the broadcast, only 2 cautions in tonight's race. It really made for competitive racing there up at the top. And what we did see, Patrick, is we saw the 63 of Todd kind of have the 54's, ideology of kind of sticking back a little bit, kind of seeing what their hole is, seeing where they can go on the track. And once Todd figured out that the 54 and 19 were battling it out, he said, "Okay, I'm going to go to the inside lane, and I'm going to go ahead and salute you guys as I go by." And we saw that. We saw the 63 sneak to the inside lane there, past the 54 of Taylor and 19 of Fernandez. And once he got by there, he really didn't look back at
So I know we're kind of throwing it back here and kind of give a little something while we get a few people in here. Look at that, man.
Take a look here, and this is Tolier that we have in the chat. And Tolier, I believe some of the drivers do have to join us up here in the booth. We can't physically move them up here, so if you could just invite them to join us. If we could go ahead and get our third place finisher, I believe, of
I'll
Scott
let them know.
Taylor in here for quick. I appreciate it. Yeah, Patrick. We're just taking a look at Hernandez here as he avoided that lapped car. I believe that really killed a lot of momentum that he may have had of catching the 63 of Todd.
Yeah.
We got Orendorff saying he finished a race in a 00. Yeah, Patrick, you mentioned it during the broadcast. With only 2 cautions. I don't think anybody was a DNF here tonight. I think everybody ran a full race. Definitely. I believe, Patrick, that you are catching up with our third place finisher of Scott Taylor on pit road. And Scott, this is Patrick Camillo up here in the 10-4 broadcast. Can you get a copy?
Yeah, good. So, how'd that run go for you, bud? Did that go about as the way you expected?
No, in practice, I thought I found something, but it was only good for the short run. Those guys, they were way better on the long run. So just burnt my stuff up.
Yeah. We were looking earlier. I believe you had the fastest time on the track. You were making a good scoot, but yeah, I think tire wear started getting toward you toward the end, didn't it?
Yeah, I was trying to make too many moves there. I think should have just maybe been a little more patient there, and maybe I could have hung with those guys in the end. But I'm telling you, those two are super fast on the long run, and I don't know what I could have done.
Yeah, it's a tough break, but hey, it's still a podium finish, and a lot of people, everybody wants to win, but hey, look, you got 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, you came in third place. That's still, you still come away with something. I mean, to me, I'm glad to at least place podium. Normally I'm hanging on the back 15.
Yeah, like I said, I pushed a little too hard, thinking, if I would have laid back a little bit, those two would have been gone. So just trying to get up there with them and just push a little too hard. But like I said, hats off to them. They ran a good race, and we'll try to get them next week.
Yeah, I was gonna
If I
say.
could, Patrick, Taylor, we saw that out of you. It almost looked like Dakota Todd was looking at your strategy there, kind of hanging back and watching that battle ensuing. Because once you and Hernandez started battling there for the top position, Todd kind of drifted back there. And what that enabled him to do is, as you guys were top side, he went to the bottom side and just had the speed and momentum to get around you both. And once he got around Hernandez, he really didn't look back there. Is that sort of the strategy that you were trying to ensue there during the race of kind of laying back and then making a move? You just kind of feel like you made that move too early?
Definitely made the move too early at the beginning. Me and Dakota were, battling it out there, and I think I just pushed a little too hard. Uh, Then second run, I tried the Patrick line and wasn't really feeling that. Then I tried to go back to my line and just hang back, and it's still was a short run car. Just won a long run in the car tonight.
Man, yeah. Yeah, but a heck of a finish, though, bud. I believe, what are we looking at? I believe next week we're looking at Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I might as well pack it in because that's old Patrick's favorite track. So we'll try to practice up this week and try to give him a run next week.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you some hint from a fellow iRacer. Chop that dog leg in half, and you'll be in good shape.
10-4, buddy. I appreciate it.
Cool. All right, bud. Hey, you want to give any shout-outs before you hop on off?
Just shout out to the clean racing up front, man. That was a good battle with us three, and tonight they were the better drivers. So hopefully I can get them next week.
All right, bud. Well, we'll be excited to see you next week.
Appreciate it.
All righty, and that was Scott Taylor in your third
Yeah,
position.
and what a race it was out of him there, Patrick, finishing in P3. But he spoke about how he may have made that move just way too early in the race, and I think Todd really saw that happening, where Taylor tried to make that move, really battle it out with Hernandez as they raced side by side there for a while. And Todd saw that taking place, and what that enabled Taylor to do is kind of use up his equipment, and then Todd took up that opportunity to fly by them both.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll get a hold of Todd here in a little bit, but I believe we're gonna have Patrick Hernandez here, and then let you go ahead and take it away with Patrick.
Yes, sir. Hey, Patrick, this is Patrick and Will up here in the booth, man. How you doing here tonight?
Man, all good, all good.
Oh man, that was an exciting, awesome, all the adjectives you can describe tonight's race event here tonight. I mean, we thought that you were gonna go back to back here in the International Racing League. You definitely had the car to do it. And me and Patrick talked about during the broadcast is, sometimes you would get out there by yourself and you were able to run those runs by yourself, but really had your hands full here tonight. Kind of take us through your point of view of tonight's race and what, you didn't finish first, but finished in second with all those battles ensuing. Just kind of take us through your thoughts on tonight's action.
Yeah, man. I had a fast car, but honestly, I couldn't manage the tires on the long run. So I managed to be fast on the short runs and tried to open a lead. Like I managed to open like a 8-10 lead, But then getting and ending the fuel run, then the car was too tight, and that's where Dakota was cutting all the time. Uh, on every restart, I look the tire wear and say, man, I need to do something. But man, I couldn't do it. On that last pit stop, I don't know. Dakota just turned on the afterburners and he was gone. I tried everything, but couldn't do it. I'm proud of the second place, but man, I wish I can find that sweet spot to manage my tires better.
Gosh, and we're looking forward to the rest of the season here because we're starting to see those drivers kind of poke out from the rest of the field, and that's definitely yourself. That's Todd, that's Taylor as well, and really it was a four-car race up there. We saw Johnson battling up there with you guys as well. And did you feel like with all those battles that you had to kind of take on and kind of battle yourself out? Did that really use up your equipment throughout the race, as you mentioned, those tires and the fuel, and you had to go down pit road a few times? Do you feel like if you hadn't have had all those other drivers on your hands, maybe you could have pulled away a little bit more?
No, man, I don't think so. Like I said on the last restart, I was saving more tire than previous runs, but I still couldn't do it. I think I had a fast car to stay on second spot, but not enough to beat Dakota. Plus, I'm not really good at Las Vegas. I'm decent, but
Right.
I still miss that bit of speed to pull a win here. So I think battle or not, I think the result was going to be the same.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun competitive race for us up here in the booth. We're heading to Phoenix next week. We're being told that that's your favorite track. So if you can go one and then two here tonight, I can only imagine what we have in store for next week.
Man, Phoenix is my playground. Like every time I go to every time I go to Phoenix, I race well. I'm not guaranteed that I'm gonna win because we have guys like they are really fast. So I'm gonna use the fact that it's my favorite track in my favor to all what I know about it, and I will try to have another solid run.
Yeah, and that was a solid run here tonight, Patrick. And as you mentioned, the equipment just kind of gave up on you. And it's nice to hear you say that, even though you felt like you had a fast car, you just didn't have anything for Todd 63. And it kind of looked that way for us up here in the booth. Once he got around you and once you guys started to go through those lapped cars, he really started to check out on the rest of the field, almost like what you did at Auto Club last week. But nonetheless, it was an awesome run out of you here tonight, Patrick. And before we let you go, of course, with that podium finish, we do want to give you that opportunity to shout out any sponsors or anybody that you might have had watching here tonight.
Uh, I have nobody watching me, I have no sponsor, but I want to give a shout out to everybody here in the league, everybody that takes a bit of their time to come here and race and put in a show for the guys watching the streams. Thank you to them because thanks to them this is possible. So I don't know, man. I think that's all.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. That was awesome, Patrick. And we look forward to seeing what you have in store for us next week.
Hell yeah, man.
All right, you have a great rest of your week, and we look forward to next Thursday.
See you guys. Have a nice one.
Alrighty.
Man, Patrick Hernandez, Patrick. There we go, double Patricks. Awesome race out of him. I like to hear that kind of, he had that confidence last week saying that he had the fastest car. His car was on rails at Auto Club. But again, you hear it out of him here tonight with that almost like that conceding notion that he had a fast car, but he didn't have the fastest car, and there wasn't really anything he could do to catch Todd.
I was gonna say, but the fastest car was Dakota Todd. He kind of hung out there for a little while and then went ahead and overtook. And I believe you just caught up with him.
Yeah, we are down in victory lane with Todd right now. Dakota, you man, what a race it was up there. We saw a four-car battle for the longest time, with Johnson in the mix as well. Once Johnson faded out down into the top five, with the other middle pack cars, it was really a three-car race between you, Taylor, and Hernandez up there. It was you that was able to come home with a race victory here tonight. Kind of take us through your point of view of tonight's race and what led you to take home the victory.
Yeah, I tonight's my first night here, so I kind of wanted to stay out of everybody's way and kind of feel out how everybody was going to race. So really, I just first couple runs, I took my time and saved my tires for that last run to see how hard I really be able to push it to keep up with them. They were pushing a lot harder than I was and burning up a lot more tire than me. So I was kind of just feeling out how they were going to run their race, and then I kind of adjusted off of that.
Wow. So winning on your debut race here in the International Racing League, there's no better way to make yourself known than picking up a huge victory. And as you mentioned that, we kind of saw that happening. We spoke to Taylor just a little while ago, and he mentioned how he made his move just a little bit too early on Hernandez in that 19. And we kind of saw the both of you of Taylor, yourself and Taylor kind of do that same strategy of kind of drifting back a little bit, watching the action in front of you. And we saw that out of you there. You kind of watched that battle ensue between Taylor and Hernandez. And when they were battling 1-2 there, you kind of found that opportunity to the inside lane there. And once you got by there, you kind of checked out.
Yeah, tires always prevail at a place like this. This place is hard on tires, so anytime you let a couple people in front of you battle and burn their stuff up, and you just get to ride and lift and keep your nose clean, it's always going to end up better for you.
Yeah, and it just looked like once you got past Hernandez and you guys started filing through those lapped cars, you kind of found the most speed of the entire race there. What do you, as you just mentioned, your equipment kind of enabled that fact there. What do you think it led, what led to that to where you were able to just kind of get past Hernandez in that 19 and kind of wave to him as you were going by? Because there was nothing, as we spoke to Hernandez just a little while ago, he had that conceding tone in his voice and knowing that there was nothing that he could do to catch you on the racetrack.
Yeah, like I said, I just really didn't want to burn my stuff up, and I wasn't how much I could really push my car. So I didn't want to burn my tires up and then be hunting the fence because I was so tight on the long run. So I really took those first 2 runs and really figured out how much I could push the last 20 laps, and it kind of fell the right way for us. We pitted with like 20 to go, and then it was kind of all out from there, just managing my right rear so I didn't get it too hot and start getting loose.
Yeah, what an excellent race. And I believe my co-host Patrick has a question for you.
Yeah, I
Yes,
was gonna
sir.
say how how was that right tire wear? I mean, I've raced here as a fellow I racer before, and man, it absolutely saws those away if you don't pick a line and stick with it.
Yeah, that's really what I was doing. I kind of committed to the bottom the whole time while they were up top, running on the fence, burning their stuff up. And that's really what helped me keep my tire wear kind of even. When you're on up top like that, you just heat the right front up so much, it makes it about impossible to turn. So I just managed that really the whole race, and in the last run, I figured out how much I could push to keep tire wear even, and just got out there to that half a second lead or so, and I just kind of managed that for the rest of the run.
Yeah, and that was a great run. I assure you of that. Now, have my doubts there sometimes. I believe when you were at the beginning battling, I think for third, fourth, and then kind of in the fourth, fifth position, and then all of a sudden, I think you noticed that everybody's tire fall off was a lot more than what you had going on. You started picking up a lot of speed there, so I was like, all right, yeah, don't shy away from Dakota Todd here. He's really starting to pull ahead and take
Yeah,
off. So yeah, that was amazing, man. Really amazing,
thank you, I appreciate that.
man. So it's both
Yeah,
our debuts today. So I was gonna say so.
yeah, that was quite, I was gonna just about to say too. We saw a lot of those side by side draft runs too, where you guys would come inches away from knocking doors or knocking on each other. We were nervous for you up here in the booth. For the folks that are unfamiliar with simulator racing, how nervous were you on the wheel? Or are you just calm, cool, and collected making those passes?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I didn't really get too worked up. I did towards the end on that last run just because I was, hard racing close door to door. I wasn't sure if we was going to get any net code or something like that would happen where it kind of ruined it. But other than that, there really wasn't much different than anything else.
Man, what a huge victory on your debut race. And it was a debut night as well for Patrick Morrison, our producer here at 10-4 Broadcasting. And no better way to get the debut out of the way than an awesome race like here tonight, Brendan. And we want to appreciate you taking the time with us and our Dakota. And before we let you go here, As the race winner, we do want to give you that opportunity to shout out anybody that you might have had watching or any sponsors you might have had on that race car.
Yeah, man, really the only people I got to thank is Philip for everything he does for all this racing we get to do during the week, and you guys for taking time out of your day to broadcast it.
Oh man, it wouldn't be as fun for me and Patrick up here if it wasn't for awesome racing that you guys put on. And we saw it last week at Auto Club. We saw it tonight here at Vegas. And next week, Patrick, I believe we're heading to Phoenix, a West Coast run. So looking forward to next week. And how confident are you heading into that race, your second race here in the International Racing League, knowing that you got a race win under your belt, and how good at you are at Phoenix?
Um, I wouldn't say I feel too great. I'm not real sure. I probably take the same strategy I had tonight. I'm still kind of just playing it by ear with around these guys, so I'm just gonna get in where I fit in and hope I can pull out another win.
You don't want to win too much because we have a guy that wins all the time in our modified series that they're starting to think he uses grip hacks or something like that, and the kid's only 14, so I
Yeah.
don't, so yeah, you don't want to keep stacking them up. But again,
Yeah.
Dakota, we want to appreciate you taking the time with us here tonight, and what a huge victory it was here at Vegas. You used the strategy to your advantage. You took care of your equipment, and at the end, I think you won almost by, I think, a solid second, if I'm not mistaken. So what a way to close out the show here tonight, and we look forward to seeing what you have in store for us next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Hey, I'd like to give a shout out to Greyhound Bus from getting me between the tracks, and Vegas has been awesome with me. I've been on a 5-day
Yeah,
bender.
quite a race here.
I've been on a 5-day bender at the Bunny Ranch. I'm tired.
That's right. We were talking to you last week about how you're going to head to the Bunny Ranch. So.
Man, I
Well, I guess you found out it was open.
I met some fabulous people there. Apparently, our interview last week, NASCAR sent the drug police to make me take a piss test at the Bunny Ranch. And
oh my gosh,
I made the race, but apparently I'm pregnant.
Jeez.
I'm the third person in NASCAR to drive while you're pregnant. Me, Jeremy Mayfield, and who is the third one? Died of AIDS. That guy. We all tested positive for carrying a baby.
But you finished in 7th though, so
it was horrible.
Even after your week at the Bunny Ranch, so
yeah, it was horrible. I got to take some anger management classes. Hey, good job tonight, guys. Sorry to jump in on this.
That's fine.
No, you're all right. No problem at all.
Yeah,
later, guys.
Let's find the jokester out there.
All right, have a great night. Man, what a race it was here tonight, Patrick, as we just heard from Tolier, who finished in the top 10. So even after a week at the Bunny Ranch, still was able to pull out a top 10. But I want to throw it over to you, Patrick, for your first producer credit, your first time getting behind the screen, if you will, of broadcasting a race. Take us through your point of view of tonight's race and what you thought of the action here in the International Racing League.
Speed. A lot of speed. I mean, these guys really put it door to door, and I can't say much more of I am impressed at the IRL league here of how they drive. I mean, like I said, you don't get a whole lot of leagues you race in that aren't just absolutely out here turning it into a demolition derby. These guys come out here, they race professionally. There were a couple mishaps, and that happens. Mistakes always happen, but you try to keep those to a minimum. And tonight was just absolutely mind-blowing to me. I have yet to be in really a race without 3 or 4 cautions. And these guys just drove and drove and drove. I mean, drove the tires off this thing. I mean, literally. And I am impressed at what they can get these Xfinity cars to do around here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and it wasn't the fact they found out on the racetrack or, they weren't racing up against one another. You really saw a lot of competitive racing, whether it was up in the lead or if it was, further on back on the cars that were kind of out of contention in the race here tonight. They really raced door to door. You saw side by side racing throughout the race here tonight, Patrick, and even though, you saw almost close contact, you saw a couple cars bounce off one another there. With only two cautions and 80 laps, as you were mentioning there, it just really shows the competitiveness and the skillfulness here in the International Racing League. And these drivers really know how to hold their lines and not get upset at other drivers. I know in some other leagues we have a lot of controversies going on between drivers and contact and, wrecking and all that other craziness. And in tonight's action, you saw everybody just race respectfully and clean, and the type of race that folks at home really enjoy because it's competitive, but it's not a wreck fest.
Yeah, really great. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good to have a wreck every once in a while. It's not the zoom and you get a break, but it changes your pit strategy. It changes
Right.
whatever else. But even when you're bumping and banging out here, you gotta keep the body man in business, right?
That's it. That's it. And you heard from our top three finishers, folks, and with those battles ensuing, it really played more strategies that they had to think about, whether it was a fuel mileage strategy, whether it was a tire strategy. You heard it from Hernandez. You heard it out of Taylor, who unfortunately said that he made the move too early and used up his equipment later on in the race. And you heard about Hernandez there trying to battle Todd, used up his tires in the process. And Todd spoke about the opposite, to where he saved his equipment to later on in the race. That actually gave him more of an opportunity to fly by those two guys to win the race.
Yeah, yeah, and what's upcoming here at Phoenix is not going to be easy. That is a weird dog leg. They've moved the finish line, and so you're going to see them kind of fan out and then smash all back together, and it's a feat in itself. But here at Vegas, I mean, yeah, it was wow, Will. I'm impressed, and I really appreciate you bringing me here with 10-4 Broadcasting to make my debut at Vegas with the IRL League.
Of course, man. I mean, I think you did an excellent job for your first go at producing. I know the folks at home, we had a bunch of viewers. You still have a bunch of viewers right now in the chat. They're talking about their finishes on YouTube, and I think we still have about 7 or 8 people watching here during the stream. And I really think you did a great job for your first ever time. With no training wheels or anything, nobody else was really helping you in tonight's broadcast. You really just went out there and did it on your own, and you saw that in tonight's action. You saw Todd kind of do the same thing in his debut race here, International Racing League. Nobody really helped him along. He battled up there with the top guns. Shout out to Tom Cruise there. And then found his hole, found his opportunity to get by those top two guys and come home with the victory. Just like I feel like you're coming home with the victory here tonight, getting your first broadcast out of the way. And looking forward to seeing you back up in the booth with me on Thursday night. But Patrick, that doesn't end your week for us here at 10-4 Broadcasting. You'll be back up in the booth on Saturday night, bringing action out of the Powerhouse Racing League, and I believe that's the first playoff race of the season for Powerhouse.
Yes, and one of my favorite tracks is at Charlotte, so that'll be a nice one. I said on there earlier, I am not afraid of the tunnel turn, but it will come up and bite you if you're not paying attention to it. So it's a great one. But yeah, go ahead and run us through the top 10 there, bud, or our top finishers tonight.
Yeah, finishers for tonight. Just taking a look at that grid up at the top of the screen for the folks at home. We're looking at Keselowski's finishing in fourth. Johnson, who raced up in the lead for majority of the night, is going to finish in fifth. Colette, who we just spoke to there, Colette's going to finish in sixth. Tollier in seventh. Ellis is going to finish in eighth. Alex Molinak is going to finish in ninth, as we said, took her dad's place here tonight. Thought she ran a really good race, Patrick, for not knowing this track, kind of getting in the car cold. Finishing inside the top 10 there. Great job for her. Gordon Dorf in that 00. We saw him struggling throughout the race here tonight. Really wasn't his night. Royal as well in 11th place. Taylor in 12th. We saw that 3-card get sideways there early on in the proceedings. But again, Dakota Todd is going to be our race winner there. We saw that 63 just really make the moves necessary to win in tonight's event. Hernandez came home in second place, and of course Taylor in the 54 is going to come home third. And Patrick, even though we saw Todd win by almost a second there, it really was not an indication of how this race went, because it really was a 3-4 car battle for the majority of tonight's action. We saw Hernandez kind of get out to the lead a little bit there. We saw Todd, but it really wasn't until the last few laps or so that we saw Todd really pull away with the race win.
Yeah, but it definitely wasn't a runaway. I do believe through the entire race we had over 8 lead changes. I mean, I believe the 24 car got up there and got to lead a few laps. I mean, it was no one person show. You know, it's not the guy pulls out in front and it's leading for 60 of these things and then something happens. I mean, it was constantly moving, adjusting, and bumping and banging just to get up there, and it was fun to watch. I enjoyed every bit of it. That it wasn't just a runaway, and then we're talking more about the 4th and 5th position, or or 7th and 8th. I mean, the top 5. These guys. I wonder if they've raced all together before. More times than this, because I mean, it just seems like they knew each other out there, where everybody was going to go, what they might do, without absolutely destroying each other.
Yeah, I mean, only 3 races into this season, I am curious to see what the rest of the season has in store. Because as you mentioned, racing that close to one another, kind of keeping your distance and knowing what the other guy's going to do. But even with Todd, as we spoke to him, Dakota Todd there, this was his first ever race with these boys, and found that opportunity to get by everybody. And we're really seeing, as Patrick mentioned, a lot of high octane racing here. And speaking of high octane racing, you can catch us in the booth here tomorrow night. Not me and Patrick, but I believe it's going to be Tim, and I believe it might be you, Patrick, tomorrow night. Nope, it's going to be Tim and Mike Maddox in the booth, bringing you playoff race number 3 out of the High Octane Sim Series. If you were liking what you're hearing out of Patrick, he'll be back up in the booth on Saturday night with Mitchell Adams with the action out of the Powerhouse Racing League. I will be back up into the booth on Sunday night, bringing you action out of the East Coast Modify Tour, and then on Tuesday night it'll be me and Mike Maddox in the booth for the Virtual Racing League. And again, folks, if you are liking what you are seeing on tonight's broadcast here at 10-4 Broadcasting, we invite you to head over to Facebook and search us on 10-4 Broadcasting. Also, go check us out on YouTube at 10-4 Broadcasting on there, Patrick. And what a debut it was for you here up in the booth for 10-4 Broadcasting. What a debut it was for Dakota Todd in that race car. Both of you guys did an excellent job here tonight, and can only look forward to seeing what's in store for the rest of this league, the rest of the season. Next Thursday night here, you can catch us at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here live on 10-4 Broadcasting. But we want to wish everybody a great rest of their